What is up, you guys? Glitchiz here, coming at you with another Dauntless video. I told you all I'll be making a video for you today going in depth on the new Slayer path progression system, and I'm a man of my word. So let's jump right into it. We got a lot of things to go over. I even made a list so I don't forget all the bullet points that I want to hit for you guys today. I'm going to include a lot of beginner guide tips as well as some more advanced tips for even veteran players, so stick around to the end because there's a little bit of everything in this video for Slayers of all experience levels. So let's jump right into it. First things first, check out Ramsgate. Look how sick this looks. Winter Wonderland, the new Cold Front Hunt Pass is here. While we're on top of this building, let's jump down. Check out these cool new cosmetic weapon skins. Looking juicy. Got that frost effect on all of them. It's really cool. I love the effects that they're starting to put on all these Hunt Pass skins. It's really cool. The armor's dope too. That's gonna be sweet. Even the armor has like frost effects coming off of it. That's dope. Looking good, looking good. We also got what I'm assuming is a new legendary sword in the shop that you can buy. Let me know down in the comments if it's new or not. I'm pretty sure, personally, I've never seen it before, but it's pretty dope looking. We can check it out here. Looks pretty cool. Curious if it has any like in-game effects or anything. But anyway, let's get right into it. So, to start out, the Slayer's Path has just been added with Dauntless Reforged. It's completely changing the game. Let's open that up real quick. You get to it by going to your menu, hitting the Slayer's Path tab in the menu options, or you can hit N. That's the hotkey for it. Now, I'll preface this video by saying that I would consider a veteran player, and I had a lot of these things unlocked already. So you probably won't have all of these milestones done right away if you're just starting out. But as you complete the little quick in-game quests and complete some hunts in the hunting grounds, these milestones will start to unlock for you. So to start out, Milestone 1, the Shattered Isles. This is basically going to introduce you to the game overall, as well as unlock the Training Island, which a lot of people take for granted. It's a great spot to test builds for different cell combinations and damage output, to test your potential with different weapon builds and armor builds. And you also unlock the Ember Thorn Cove, which is the starter hunting ground island for low-level hunting ground hunts. So if we go to the hunting grounds, you can see here that the Emberthorn Cove is the level 1 to 2 hunting ground island. And there's 18 of them that have been added, each with their own unique spawns of enemies, star ratings, and whatnot. And we'll go over that a little bit more in a minute. But that's how that works. Zoom out again. So once you get to the second milestone, we first unlock the Boreal Outpost as well as the Revelation Rock, which are the next two level tiers of the hunting grounds. So you're going to get a little progressively more difficult. And I'm not sure because obviously this was already pre-completed for me, but you may have a short little mini quest you have to do to unlock these. I'm not sure what the actual requirement is because, like I said, I've already unlocked these right out the gate. But the other thing we have here is weaponsmithing. Now, for weaponsmithing, this has changed a lot. You're basically going to be using combat merits and rams to unlock these perks for each weapon type. So we got swords, axe, hammers, chain blades, warpike, repeaters, and strikers. Personally, as a beginner, I would strongly recommend not putting all of your perks into one particular, your merits per se, into one particular weapon type. And the only reason I say that, and before I actually wouldn't have said this because you could get away with focusing on like one weapon or two weapons back in the day. But with the new bounty system and getting the merits and experience from our bounties more importantly now, you're going to want to be well versed in a variety of weapons. And so having this initial +5 power on each of these weapon types as just a base power boost on all the different weapons is going to be really beneficial to you early on. So before you dive too in, the other reason is once you get to these later game ones, they cost upwards of like 800 merits. So as you can see, I've been playing for a while, and there's still a lot that even I have to unlock still and farm merits for. The tier 3 power one is 1600. So there's definitely a lot of farming you're going to have to do, a lot of hunting you're going to have to do to get these merits. But there is some tips that I'm going to give later on that I think will help you progress a little bit faster when it comes to reforging and whatnot. So we'll jump into that in a minute. But yeah, the first one here is +5, and it'll be +5 for every weapon type. Then you get +1% critical strike chance, or critical chance, and then another power, another +1 critical chance, and then another power. So maxing this out gives you 5, 10, 15% or 15 plus power for each weapon type, as well as 2 flat % critical chance. Now this is applied to every weapon of that weapon type, regardless of what kind of build you have. So these are just extra bonuses on top of your build that you're going to be getting. So that's pretty cool. Next, we have the Slayer's Armor Milestone. This is Milestone 3. And here we're going to start getting the exploration merits for our glider. And I'm probably going to do a video on proper gliding techniques, because there is some benefits to nosediving and pulling up to preserve your stamina and get further distances and use your stamina when gliding more efficiently. So that'll be a separate video, but here's where you unlock the proficiency in your different gliders. Then you will also unlock 2 more islands, the Restless Sands as well as Iron Falls. Again, progressively getting stronger. You're going to run into higher star tier behemoths and a little bit harder public events. And then we get to armor crafting. Now, under armor crafting, we have helmets, chest pieces, gauntlets, and boots. And under each one of these now, we didn't get this before, but under each one of these were originally tied to your Slayer Mastery. Now you unlock them here in the tree, and based on which perk you move into, you're going to be getting another core base stat added onto you regardless of what armor you're equipping. So for helmets, we're going to be getting a healing boost from all sources by 1%, and that goes up to 5 times. So that's a flat 5% healing bonus from all sources you're going to get when it's maxed. For chest pieces, I'm actually going to probably unlock that right now. And again, each of these are going to be using a different type of merits. So the armor, the weapons, and I don't think these are exploration. These might take combat merits. I had all these pre-unlocked, but they may take combat merits to unlock. These are exploration. So yeah, so it looks like possibly the perks, your armor bonus buffs, and your weapon buffs are going to take combat merits. Your glider, your tonics, and your different potions are going to take... it looks like your resistances also take combat merits, but your tonics, potions, and pylons take exploration merits. And then... what was the last one? There was exploration. I think that might be it. It might just be exploration and combat. Combat. Yeah, I think it's just exploration and combat. So, back to the armor. Armor is going to give you a flat health bonus, which is always good. So personally, I would recommend getting the health bonuses maxed out first as if you're a new player, and the stamina bonuses maxed out if you're a new player. The healing and the stamina regeneration, not as important. But yeah, I would definitely go with the overall stamina and the overall flat health bonus first. That's a 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. So that's 100 base health that you're getting and 100 base stamina you're getting. So that's going to extend your bar for both of those right out the gate. And again, that's flat. It's going to be on you regardless of what build you're running, so that's good to have. Next, once you hit milestone 4, Forage and Formula, this is where you're going to start getting into your loadouts. So you can upgrade the amount of loadout slots you have. You can also purchase 3 additional loadout slots from the store for platinum, I believe. You're also going to get 2 more difficult islands, Ulrich's Peak and Sunderstone. And then we have Granny, who's going to be giving out the stamina tonics, the bulwark tonics, your healing flask, and your additional potion slots. The main things as a beginner slayer that I would recommend unlocking in this category is definitely the multiple slots, and then first and foremost the number of healing flasks that you can hold. And again, I'll go into that in more depth in a minute as to why. But yeah, definitely the healing flask. Bulwark tonics would be a close second, because if you're lower level, these are really, really strong. Basically, it reduces the amount of damage you take for the next 3 hits after you drink one. So that's always good to have, especially once you start getting into those higher fights. Even as a veteran player, we typically pop those. Usually, the 3 potions that you're going to want to max out first are, besides your healing flask, the Bulwark tonics. And then once we get up here, you're going to want to get the Frenzy tonics and the Blitz tonics. Attack speed, increased power, and increased defense. Those are the 3 main ones that you're going to want to ideally max out first. That's why I'll probably put this into Blitz tonic. So that is it for the 4th milestone and what I recommend that you get early on. Once you do a couple more quests, you rank up a little bit more, you'll get into milestone 5, Light the Way, where you'll unlock an even harder island as well, Frost March. And then we get into the weapon mods and specials. Now, if you go into your equipment, certain weapons have specialty mods that you can equip, right? All of these mods give your weapon a special perk, per se, ability, basically, that you can use with that weapon type. And you can only have one equipped at a time. So in that section, in the Slayer's Path, this is where you'll start to unlock all of those additional weapon mods for each class. And again, I had all these unlocked already, so they're already filled out. These will, what I'm assuming, will probably be combat merits that you'll have to purchase to unlock these. And then you also unlock your lanterns. And I don't think anything's changed on the lanterns. Hopefully we start seeing more, because they do a lot of cool, unique effects. But same ones as before: Embermane, Drask, Shrike, Skarn, Pangar, and Koshai. So then you keep leveling up on the hunting grounds, getting more experience, potentially do another quest if the one is required for each milestone, and you get to milestone 6. Now this is when we start jumping into elemental mastery. First off, we get 2 more islands. We get Thunder Watch and we get Fortune's Folly. And these star difficulties are going to go up each time, and potentially give you better loot. And that's going to lead into the topic I'm going to get into here in a minute. So here we have our escalations: Shock, Blaze, Umbral, and Terra. I'm assuming this will change a little bit if they ever update the number of escalations that are going to be added. They did already announce that another one's going to be coming. We don't know yet, but I'm curious how they're going to fit that in. And then we have the next tier of Granny's tonics, which are the secondary type potions that you can craft. Again, focusing on Blitz and Wild Frenzy would be my main recommendations. The crit tonic is gone. Thank God. That was breaking everything. Aether Drive tonic and Assault tonics aren't bad in some builds, depending on what you're going with. The Insight tonic, don't really use it too much. And the Life Drain tonic, don't really use that too much either. Definitely Blitz and Frenzy tonic is what I'd recommend to start out first, and put your points towards that. Moving on, we have milestone 7. This is Dread Cells, Now here is where we start getting to our elemental resistances, and if you watched my previous video, they did say in the patch notes that the elemental resistances are going to be a much bigger factor now, so that may change how we build our loadouts for armor and stuff. It's not going to be limited to just a few key armor pieces anymore. We may have to start relying on like actually using the opposing element for certain behemoth types. But in this section, you basically get up to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25% elemental resistance for any given element. So we have Blaze, we have Shock, Frost, Terra, Radiant, and Umbral. So you max these out, and regardless of your build, regardless of what weapons or armor you're using, you have the potential to get a flat 25% elemental resistance permanently in every build without cell additions, anything like that. Just a flat 25% elemental resistance bonus for every single element. I went ahead and got tier 2 for everything, so I'm kind of like set early on against every behemoth type. I don't see what the benefit would really be of putting all of them into one. It doesn't really make sense to me because you will potentially be running into a lot all the time, changing up the element. So I'd recommend just going tier by tier and getting all of them until before moving to the next tier. Get all of them. That way you have equal resistance to whatever behemoth you're going up against. Then we get unlock for the middleman, which is the main guy to go to for upgrading and fusing our cells, which is mid to late game usage. You can do it in early game with like green tier cells. It doesn't give you a huge bonus, but you probably early on won't have that many cells, but you unlock the middleman. He will fuse your cells for you. I've already made a video about the middleman, a beginner's guide for him, so I'll post a link for that over in the top corner over here for the video linking to the middleman and how he works. The one cool thing that they did change that you won't see in my older video because it's been updated is they finally did a day cooldown reset on what 3 weekly cells that he's selling. Before, it was like the same 3 cells forever, and you could only buy those 3 cells. Now we've got 3 new cells that he's selling, and I'm assuming that he's going to be selling. There's a 6-day right now, currently a 6-day timer on when that resets for his shop. So I'm assuming that after those 6 days, those 3 available cells are going to change, and hopefully if you check in each week, it might be a cell that you don't have yet, and you can pick that up and add it to your collection. Also, like the other tiers, we're getting 2 more islands, the Brightwood Island and the Cold Runner Key. Then we move to Milestone 8, another island, Snowblind Waste, and then we get into our Granny Pylons. Personally, I didn't put any points into pylons. I never use them. If you're in a big group all the time with friends regularly, then potentially a Lifespring Pylon or Inspiring Pylon isn't a bad idea if you can lock down the behemoth, because it'll give AoE bonus buffs to your whole party and not just you. But personally, I run solo most of the time, maybe 1-2 other people, so they're not as big of a deal, so I didn't really focus on them. But that being said, they did announce that there's going to be 6 Slayers in the hunting grounds now, whether it's you and friends or random. So if there's multiple people around, then the pylons may become more important and we might see people using them more frequently. But for now, I didn't put any points into them. I focused more on leveling up the core tonics that I know I personally will be using more. So then we go up to the next milestone, milestone 9. This is Edge of Isles. Again, we get another island, Undervaulted Defile. And here is where we start unlocking our gathering upgrades. I had a bunch of these already unlocked because my Slayer Mastery was maxed out already. They do give you one additional tier. That's 1,000 plus exploration merits. But basically all this does is for Herbalist and Prospector, you're going to be getting a 5% chance up to a 5, 10, 15, 20, 25% chance gather bonus to get double the amount of drops when gathering those things. So for Herbalist, you're going to get double the herbs, and for Prospector, you're going to get double the ore. So I'm already at plus 20%. Just need those last bit of upgrades. So one out of every 4 will have a double pickup, basically. Moving on, we have Milestone 10, Witness the Sands. Here we start getting introduced to Admiral Zai in grenade crafting. Again, I didn't put really any points into grenades because they're not crazy important early on in the game. Pretty much the only ones I really ever use are just the regular grenade and potentially concussive grenade for certain weapon types that aren't good at interrupting behemoths. You can use these to stun and interrupt behemoths with a grenade instead. So that would probably be the first two that I would put points into if I had to and had them to spare. Also, we get 2 more islands, Cape Fury and Hades Reach. Next, we have Milestone 11, Testament of Skill, and here is where we unlock the first normal difficulty for Trials, as well as 2 more islands, Razorcliff Isle and Twilight Sanctuary. Milestone 12, Reforged. This is basically the final milestone for the Slayers now. Not only do you get access to the Dauntless difficulty for Trials, but you get access to the hard mode for all the 4 different escalation types. But then the big thing is the new Reforge empowerments unlock. Now, the thing I wanted to go in for the Reforge empowerments are as follows. Let's run over here and let's talk about Reforging. So, I believe there's 2 of these pillars. There's one here, and there may be one down below. Pretty sure they said there was 2. I'm not sure. I'd have to go hunt down the second one, but here's the main one. You interact with it, and basically here is your weapon types. Now, I had, when Reforge launched, all of my weapon masteries maxed out. So for me, all of these started at level 20, which is the max that you can go. Now, level 20 will give you access to basically any tier level of the hunting grounds. And the higher the tier level of the hunting grounds, the harder behemoths you're going to fight, but the more loot you're going to be getting, the more merits you're going to be getting, the more upgrade items you're going to be getting. Now, here is the big tip that I think a lot of people are going to be misinterpreting or jumping too quick to conclusions here, is I personally am not going to reforge my weapons and get that cool little upgraded banner until I unlock more of the lower branches of the tree. And I say that because once you spend these 100 Aether Shards, or Aether Sparks rather, it drops your weapon skill back down to 0 or 1 again. Now, your weapon skill, if we go into the hunting grounds, directly ties in to the difficulty level requirement or the recommended requirement for your loadout to be when you go into here. Now, as I mentioned previously, these higher tier, max 17 to 20 5-star islands are going to have a lot harder behemoths, but with 20 leveled weapons, you're going to have an easier time killing them, and in return, you're going to be getting more merit drops from rewards from events. You're going to be getting more loot from harder behemoth enemies, more rarer loot from harder behemoth enemies, which all in return will help you upgrade the missing nodes that you still need in your Slayer path. Like all of the combat merits that you would need. Like some of these take 350 combat merits, you know, for some of these later ones. In even these downward ones are in the thousands, you know what I mean? 1600, almost 2000. So if you're reforging your weapon just because you want this cool bronze or silver banner around you, you're gonna be stuck for a good chunk of hunts because you're not gonna be strong enough to do those higher level islands and get more loot out of them. So you're going to be getting less loot for a longer period of time, in return increasing the time it would take to upgrade your base stats. Now, the one thing you do get, and this is part of the final milestone, is once you start reforging your weapons, you do get base bonuses, like perks basically, that empower that weapon type, that will just be flat bonuses, kind of like the other ones, regardless of which weapon you're using of that weapon type. So to start out, we get, for swords, 2% weapon charge rate, and this will keep going up 5 times. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10% weapon charge rate for swords. So for swords, it's weapon charge rate. For axes, it is a flat power increase. For hammer, it's stagger damage. For chain blades, it's stamina reduction. For pike, it's wound damage. Repeaters is movement speed and attack speed for the strikers. Now, once you get to the late game and you have all that stuff maxed out, then yeah, it might be worth it to start pumping in your Aether Sparks into these weapons to reforge it and get these min-maxed little bonuses to make your build that much better. But early on, where the Reforge just started, even veteran slayers like myself don't have obviously everything unlocked. Why would I care about a 2% stamina reduction on my chain blades when there is, down at the bottom here, critical chance, plus 5 power, critical chance, plus 5 power. We're looking at plus 20 power, plus 2 to 3% crit chance on all of these weapon types that still have to be unlocked before we even get to the Reforge process. So that's probably my biggest tip that I think people are jumping to conclusions with this Reforge thing, is they want the clout basically of having that cool banner on their weapon showing how experienced they are with their weapon. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're a one trick and all you do is use a sword or all you do is use an axe, then sure, you can do whatever you want. And you can put your points in here all the way to the end. You can reforge a thing and show off all you want, and that's fine. But if you're like me and a completionist and an all-around variety slayer, which personally I think is better because it adds variety to the gameplay. The game isn't as boring, and it changes it up. And for your bounties, like I was saying, and that's the next thing I'm going to go into, is they have a lot more benefit to completing now. So not only do you get a hunt pass XP now, it also increases your weapon skill experience as well as gives you combat merits. And the combat merits are what you need to upgrade those weapons. Now, if I'm doing stagger damage, but I'm a war pike one trick, it will take me forever to do this 40k stagger damage. Well, I shouldn't say forever. They're still not that hard, but it will take me much longer than if I had a balanced build for, say, a hammer, which is mainly what you use to do stagger damage. You will complete these bounties, get your combat merits much faster when you have a balanced loadout for potentially every different weapon type. You'll be geared for every situation, basically. And in return, you'll rank up and you'll get these merits faster, and you'll be able to progress through the game quicker and fill out your Slayer's Path quicker. So that's probably the big benefit for, or big tip rather, that I have for beginner and veteran Slayers, is don't rush in to reforging your weapons. Now, the other thing with reforging is, and this is the only one benefit if you're new, is I had, obviously, as you can see, 21. I had more. I've already upgraded some of my gear. I had several of these Aether Hearts already, and this is what you use to power surge your gear. And when you reforge a weapon and reset it back to 1, yes, it resets it back to 1, but you are granted 1 Aether Heart, which will max out any weapon to its max potential, basically. So with that being said, that transitions perfectly into the new crafting system. So a few things have changed when it comes to crafting weapons and armor. You may have to talk to Moira and Will's Borman when you first log in. They do have a simple quest to do to unlock the different tiers for the Slayer Path to get access to this stuff. But once you get it, we've got a little bit different of a layout now. So for starters, and this is a big change and also a good change in my opinion, before there was a 1 to 15 crafting system where you had to use a certain amount of parts, use a certain amount of shining arc stones or whatever type, dull arc stones, anything, to upgrade your gear and your weapons every single level, 1 to 15. Now you basically do it twice. You craft the weapon once, and depending on the tier of the weapon, and the tiers are based on how early in the game you run into these behemoths. They have a beginning, like, base level tier. So like this one, for example, is 30. Some of them will have a base that's a little bit higher. But you craft it one time using common materials, and that will craft it for the base power score. Now that power score is not what it can be at max. So to max it, that is when you would use the Aether Heart. So let's take a piece that I know I'm going to want to upgrade here. Let's see here. What would be a good one? Let's take Shroud's Helmet, for example. Head armor 30, total armor 540. If we hold P, it shows us what the power surge stat will be when we max it out, as well as what the total armor will be when we max it out. If we hit L, it shows us the skill level 20 bonus of what the rank of that level is. So that is leveling it from 1 to 20 before you go to Reforging. So depending on the level of your weapon, that determines the power level of your gear or weapon is the level of it. Now, once you get it to the point where you can power surge it, then it's going to start requiring a bigger chunk of rams as well as epic and rare materials to upgrade it, as well as one of those Aether Hearts. So if you have the materials you need, you can power surge it.
Glad I can help. And
that will max it out. And now once that's gold, you never have to touch that piece of armor again. It is maxed out, level 20 bonus, max 540 armor stat, and the head armor, each piece obviously is its own total amount, is at 30 power surge. So this cannot go any higher from here, and then you can equip it. Now it has the perk bonus that's on that piece of armor down the middle, and that's pretty much it. And the same thing goes for the weapons.
What brings you to the Smithy Slayer?
So pick the few weapons that you know you're going to use the most, preferably the escalation weapons, because they're going to be best in slot for that particular element. And again, elemental resistances are going to be more important now. And they can also bond with one weapon, matching weapon type of that same element. So, for example, the Voidbane, that is the Thrax escalation weapon. I maxed that out, but the bond that I bond to the Thrax weapon is the Riftstalker weapon. So I made sure to max that out, because once that's power surge, you get +3 as well. So once these are maxed out, you never have to worry about it. The only thing that will change is your level bonus. So it will always have this base stat, but the level bonus will change depending on your level skill of that weapon type. So once you reforge, keep in mind you're going to be going back down to level 1, and you're going to be stuck doing those lower level hunts for an extended period of time. So that pretty much covers it for crafting. Did I miss anything in the Slayer's Path? No. This is unlocking the Reforge. This is the final step. That's obviously what lets you reforge your items. One other quick thing that I ran into. I think I covered everything. Yes. Ozz, when you first start out, has 2 cosmetic skins now that they have for armor pieces. I believe it's for the Agorist helmet. There's 2 variations of that helmet that you can unlock. I selected one of the 2, and then it gave me a quest, which I still have to do. Excuse me. 3 pumpkins. Whoa. No way. Hold on a minute. Did I just see what I think I saw? Did you guys see that? Did I just see an explorations merit pop up in that curiosity? Hold on a minute. Now I gotta test this. You guys might be seeing this on the fly. It could have just been a delayed thing from when I crafted my armor, maybe, but I could have sworn I saw an exploration merit pop up. Anyway, what else did I want to go over? Yeah, Ozz's quest. He'll give you a quest to unlock that cosmetic item for the skin for the Agorist helmet. The other thing I wanted to go more in depth on, we covered reforging weapons, is how the UI has changed for the hunting grounds as well. So if we go in here, here is the list of all the islands that you will unlock once you upgrade your Slayer's Path. Everything, like I mentioned in my previous video, has a color coding now. Gray is basically, you can do it no problem. Green is that particular one is within one level of your current Slayer level or power level overall. And anything yellow or red or higher means the difficulty is going to be increased. So I'm assuming that once you reset your weapon down to like level 1 again, when you reforge it, all of these higher end ones are going to start showing up red. So they're going to be more difficult. So keep an eye out on that. But the cool thing is that with these Slayer Path, with these islands, we get a bunch of information that we didn't get before. So to start out, it shows which behemoths we can potentially run into on that island during our hunt, what the recommended loadout and what our current and recommended loadout is. The current loadout is what our numbers are. Recommended will be the color. So if it's gray, then that's too easy. Green, red, so on and so forth. New behemoths, local flora that are good that you can potentially find on that island, as well as the island events. Now, there's I think 5 different island events at launch that could potentially happen. Aether Surge, Strike, High Alert. There's like Sudden Death or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, Sudden Death. And each of these have a different modifier basically for that hunt for you to complete. Now, the other cool thing, which before we only saw it like with our task list as we're running around, but now anytime that we have a quest, if that quest can be completed on that particular item, you'll see the exclamation mark for the quest, but then at the very bottom, it'll also tell you what quest can potentially be completed on that island when you go there, as well as what the objective is. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. All in all, I think the changes are really good. I'm going to do a more in-depth guide on the hunting grounds itself and go in and show you actual gameplay, how the different events work, how we can use our patrol keys to unlock the treasure caches that are hidden throughout the hunting grounds, tips and tricks on gliding, things like that. But all in all, I think the changes are awesome. One other thing, if you're watching Phoenix Labs, I would love it if we could change the name of our loadouts. Add an ability to change our loadout names, because once you get a bunch, I try having one for like each weapon type, and then I have an extra one for, say, this is my trials for the day loadout type of thing. Being able to name these, especially if you have multiple builds for the same type of weapons, when you start throwing on transmogs and different cosmetic items, it's hard to tell, especially with these little icons, like what build that is without clicking on it. So being able to just cycle through and know, like, name it, trials build, hammer build, whatever, like DPS build, support build, whatever, like naming them, I think that'd be a really cool idea to add. Oh, also, big thing. I mentioned in my previous video that we were limited to 1 supply cache, and how restocking on our potions and our gear, yeah, it's cool that we have that, and we can do that one time throughout our mission on the hunting grounds. But depending on how long we're grinding, we may want to do more than 1 swap of our gear, or refresh our potions more than 1 time. The cool thing that changed that I noticed when I went in here is that the capacity for the amount of potions that we can carry has been increased. So that's one way that they buffed that, so not having so many chests isn't as big of a deal. I think before it was only like 4 or 5 that you could equip, and so now you can have 6+, I think even more, 7, 8, 9, depending on which one it is. I don't think it goes that high. I think it's like maybe 7 or 8. And you will upgrade that in the Slayer's Path. So that was pretty cool. You get increased tonics, and that will prevent you from having to refill constantly. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I got for you guys for today's video. Keep an eye out for my next video regarding a more in-depth look on the hunting grounds itself. But with that being said, if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button. If you don't miss out on any of my future Dauntless content, then consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Also, I will, starting next week, be streaming a lot more frequently on Twitch now. So click the links down below in the description and go check out my Twitch channel. Give me a follow there because I'll be doing some live content as well. Hope you guys had a good day. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Later. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Also, if you're looking to join a killer community of like-minded gamers, then be sure to click the link in the description and join the Glitch Gang Discord server. We continue to grow every day, and it's filled with all your favorite game discussion channels, as well as several LFG channels to help you find that perfect group for your next hunt or raid. Lastly, if you're new to the channel and want to keep up to date with all my future content, then consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Hope you all had a great day, and I will catch you on the next one.